Hello again. Today's Beatitude is this: Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Well, if we're going to look at the Christian context for that, it seems fairly obvious, doesn't it, that this is to do with belief in an afterlife, whether it's resurrection or heaven, the idea that death is not the end. But still, that might be a long many years off, and it doesn't just stop grief, does it? It may be that Christians feel a sense of peace because they have this hope that death is not the end and that maybe they will see this person again. But let's not get too hung up on that, because I don't honestly believe that Christians who are bereaved suffer less than anyone else. And when they do feel comfort, I don't think it's some conscious or even unconscious thought that they're going to see that person again. That may be a small part of it. But they just feel a peace in their heart at some point. They're on the same journey as anyone who's bereaved. In Christian terms, Jesus talks about giving his disciples his peace. My peace I give to you, the peace that passeth all understanding. And a lot of Christians will tell you that they receive some sort of spiritual comfort, some warmth in their heart that reassures them. But that's not entirely alien to people who aren't Christians. I think atheists, agnostics, I think they go on the same journey with grief. And so I want to suggest 4 ways in which people who aren't Christians might still apply this beatitude to themselves. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Well, to start with, you will be comforted by friends, family, associates. And I know that sounds like a bit of an obvious thing, a bit of a platitude. Of course you will be. But there's something that happens around bereavement that lots of people notice, which is that it becomes a clarifying revelation. There's a certain disappointment. Some friends that you thought were really close, they back off. They're embarrassed, they disappear. But then other people, other friends come forward. Someone that you, right now, you don't realise what a great friend they are. You don't realise what they have in their heart and in their mind that they're going to give you when the time is right. So it can be a comfort to think that when we mourn, we will be comforted, and it will be a revelation in some way. Second way in which I would say we can apply this beatitude to people who are not Christians, who are atheists or agnostics, is to say that you may have this conviction that you are going to build a community in which the bereaved really do get comforted. It's a calling. Maybe it's how you feel about your family, the family that you create. Maybe it's how you feel about your neighbourhood or your workplace, the church that you're part of. We're going to build something where the people who suffer bereavement feel comfort. And so we might italicize the word will. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted, and I'm going to make it happen. There are many ways of doing this. You might look to do this in a more professional way. You might train in bereavement counselling. There are some wonderful people who do that. You might take this in a political direction. I'm going to campaign to get increased funding for these services, for bereavement services. I'm going to campaign in the workplace to make it a better place for people who are grieving. So that's the second way. The third way in which we might apply this is just to say that there's really no difference between Christians and atheists and agnostics when it comes to the natural process of grieving. We may call it all sorts of different things. We may do that. But really, we're all on the same journey. And so that thing that Christians call the peace of Christ or the peace of God in their hearts, I believe that can easily come to you in a secular form, just with a different language around it, you know? So that peace in your heart, it's something that comes at the end of grieving, and you need to be reassured. Blessed are those who mourn, because it comes to an end. You go through the stages and then you feel a wonderful peace, and in that peace the pain of separation is replaced by something else, warmth of memories. That person becomes present to you in a different way, maybe as an inspiration, as a comfort. And finally, let me just say that we all know the platitude, another platitude, that says grief is the price that we pay for love. But it's true. I know it's a cliche, but it's true. You are blessed if you are mourning, because that means you really loved someone. The only person that doesn't mourn, that won't ever mourn, is the person who feels nothing for anyone else. You are going to grieve, you're going to go through all that pain, but there's going to be a comfort in amongst that pain, telling you that you are mourning because you have loved, and we are so blessed to have that in our life. So, blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. If you're grieving at the moment, and I know it's a long, painful process, if that's going on in your life at the moment, I hope that this verse in particular, will give you some comfort. And I do encourage you to reach out to your friends and family and to look for bereavement support services that are out there. Okay. Amen. I'll see you next time.